Hey everybody, so I went to see Rent last week for what I'm pretty sure is going to be the final time. You may know it's closing on Broadway on September 7th after a little over 12 years? Yeah, a little over 12 years on Broadway. I've seen Rent probably around 50 times, which is crazy, I know. I sort of quit keeping count after it got around the 40 mark. But this is probably going to be the last time. I'm working like every day for the next 2 weeks, then going on vacation, and when I come back it's only going to be on for a couple more days. In all honesty, I haven't seen Rent for a while, or certainly not as frequently as I used to, because it just hasn't been very good on Broadway in a long time. I'm sure that people who are seeing it now for the first time are really loving it, but for those of us who saw a lot of the original cast, and then several casts after that, and then have gone on to see it over the years, you've kind of been able to see it, I wouldn't say deteriorate necessarily, but you can definitely tell there's a lack of connection with the material, and as more people just come in and out and in and out, even the cast members aren't necessarily connecting with themselves. But I wanted to see it again before it closed, and I especially wanted to see it because I heard that Gwen Stewart was back in it. She was the original Seasons of Love soloist, and I have a good spot in my heart for her because when I first saw Rent, it was actually my first Broadway show in 1997, and I got autographs afterwards, and I met her, and she was so nice to me. I told her her solo was breathtaking, and she just acted like it was the nicest thing anybody had ever said. So I thought, okay, she's wonderful, I like her. So I definitely wanted to see her again. And I also found out that Tracie Thoms, who played Joanne in the movie version of Rent, was on Broadway for the last couple months until it closed, playing Joanne on Broadway. And when I had the Rent movie screening benefit for Friends Indeed the night before the movie was released, when I did that at Symphony Space, and we had a Q&A with the cast, and Tracy was kind enough to come up there and partake in the Q&A with Anthony and Adam and Wilson and some others, and she was really nice there as well. So I thought, I like these people, they're good, I've enjoyed their performances in the past, let me see how they are now before they go. And to my surprise, it was really good. Like, all around, it was really good. It was almost kind of like a Rent reunion in a way. When I looked at the cast list, I was like, it's kind of like they've taken the best actors who've been in the show and put them all together to have sort of this dream cast. Well, maybe not an exact dream cast, which would probably be more like the original cast. But, you know, sort of a best of Rent performers before it closes. The Roger I had never seen before. His name is Will Chase. I've heard about him a lot. I feel like he's played Roger before, and I've heard other people say great things about him, but I've never seen him myself. He's really, really good. I did rush tickets, and we won the lottery, so I was right down in the front row in the middle, and right near the end of Rent, he kind of looked down on stage, and he looked like he made direct eye contact with me for a minute. He had these like piercing blue eyes and this shock of blonde hair, and I was like, ah. It was very cool, and he was really good. One piece that he did that I really liked a lot was right before he started One Song Glory. You know, this part where he takes his AZT and he puts the cap back on the bottle, and he kind of looked at the bottle for a minute like he was contemplating suicide. Like, you know, maybe this isn't worth it. And that really got me. Like, I know he's kind of depressed, but I never thought about the fact that maybe Roger is, you know, thinking in split seconds, maybe I should just chuck it all in. That really added a different layer to the performance for me. Michael McElroy was playing Collins. I think he was the second Collins ever after Jesse L. Martin left the cast. I'm pretty sure he played Collins when I first saw Rent in '97. I'd seen him several times. I've also had the occasion to meet him a few times at Symphony Space, and he's really nice, and he's such a good Collins. He gets it. He really gets it. And he had a great rapport with Johnston, who was playing Angel, and Justin's been on Broadway for a while now. And sometimes I've seen him great, sometimes I've seen him kind of tired, but it seemed like with Michael, he really had a great rapport, and they really played off each other really well. Rodney Hicks was playing Benny, which I was really surprised to see. Rodney was in the original cast, 12 years ago as an ensemble member, and now he's back in it playing Benny. And I thought, ooh, right as soon as I saw that, I thought, ooh, this will be interesting. I think it'll be really interesting to see what he does. And it was nice to see a Benny that was kind of downplayed a little more. I see a lot of Bennies that are really frantic. They're kind of all over the stage. They're like, hey, yeah, oh, I got a lot of money now, and I'm a big player, and I drive a Range Rover, and whatever. But he was really bringing it kind of much more down to earth in a more believable way. You know, like, hey, you guys are my friends, and now I have this, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm being kind of an ass to you, but, you know, you're still my friends, and let's play it well. So that was really good. Tracie Thoms, not surprisingly, was excellent as Joanne. And as Mimi, we had an understudy, Renee, Elise, Goldsberry. Also phenomenal. She did something that I thought was so great that's always bugged me at the end of Light My Candle. When she says, you want to dance? He says, with you. And she goes, no, with my father. Which I've always thought is kind of this line like, well, hey, stupid, of course with me. Who else is here? Yeah, I've never seen a single Mimi play it that way. They always just go, no, with my father. And yet everybody laughs anyway. She totally was like, no, with my father. Like, you stupid dumbass. That was really good. I really liked her a lot. We did have an understudy for Mimi and Maureen. I had Tracy McDowell as Eden Espinosa's understudy for Maureen, and she was really great. One of the great things I loved was that she didn't do what have become all of the signature moves in Over the Moon. It's that kind of stuff about Rent that has driven me crazy over the years. Like, the more people come into roles and come into roles and come into roles, they're sort of taught, these are the funny things you do at this moment, which you're really going to get a bunch of laughs. And it just sort of takes all kind of creativity out of the role. So I love when I see somebody who does something original, something they came up with that isn't like, now I will mug this way. And a lot of them do this in Over the Moon, like this suicidal Mickey Mouse, and they do like a slashing the wrist, and she puts the cowbell on her head and whatever. And this girl did not do that at all, thank God. I thought it was excellent. Gwen Stewart, fabulous. She was excellent, just like I knew she would be, just like she was all those years ago. It's something that's interesting, you know, in the movie Tracie Thoms sang the Seasons of Love solo since they didn't have the ensemble members there. And on Broadway, it just so happens that the character of Joanne stands right next to the Seasons of Love soloist in the lineup on the edge of the stage during Seasons of Love. And at the end, as the soloist is kind of singing her thing, everybody kind of leaves the stage and she's left there alone. Well, Tracie Thoms as Joanne kind of lingered a little longer and stood there and was looking over like, yeah, girl, yeah, I know what you're doing. It was very cool. It was very cool. So I was really happy. You know, it's been, for me, not a great show for so long now that I was really worried that when I went right before it was over, it was just going to be crappy, and I was going to be like, thank God it's dead. But I'm happy to see that there are still some people who kind of know what it's all about and are making it work. And if anybody has tickets for the final performance, which I understand they're not putting on sale to the general public, so if you were lucky enough to have it, you have it, give me a call, let me know what's going on, because I'll be back in town then, and maybe we could work something out. Okay, call.